After programming for close to 2 years now, I've come across several tools and extensions to make development faster. I think it's very useful, especially if you want to start, if you are doing programming, especially in web programming. These tools by no means will make you a better programmer, but I would say it will make all those tedious tasks you do as a programmer less boring, I guess. Okay, so to demonstrate all these tools, I have now an app, a simple React app that simply shows a card, right? We have a card here, and to create this app, I basically run npx create React app, and I delete everything in the app.js inside of here, and I replace it with this. In here, I render a simple component, a card component, and a card component is simply a DOM component that shows, well, a card. And right here, you can see we have a card top, we have a card bottom, and a card footer. Okay. Inside the card bottom, we have title, descriptions, and the card footer, we have date, comment, etc. And for all these components, I also make the CSS for it. We have the card.css. This is a CSS, a very simple one. The card is not that fancy, but it gets the point. You get the point across. And we have the app.css as well. I delete everything and I add my own. This is the app.css. And we are going to be using all these tools to duplicate this app, if this is a very simple app. So to do that, I'm going to create a new component. I'm going to call it cardfast. I'm going to create two components, cardfast and card.css. And let's just, copy this for now. Just going to copy this, okay? And I'm going to call it cardfast, and I'm going to delete pretty much everything. All right, so that's cool. Cardfast. Okay, and to do this, this is cardfast. Okay, let's now duplicate the card component into cardfast. Let's see what tools are we gonna use to do that. So I'm just gonna make two side here. Hold on. So I'm gonna make it side by side. We have card and we have cardfast. Cool. All right. The first tool I want to talk about is something called Emmet. Emmet, as what it does, it basically makes you writing all this HTML code faster. Okay, so if you want to see more about Emmet, you can go to emmet.io, and what it does is basically gives you some sort of syntax that will expand into HTML code. And for example, you can watch the demo if you want. And Emmet is actually available to most, I guess, IDE. It's available on VS Code, it's available on Sublime or Atom, I think. But if you use VS Code, you can get it out of the box. You don't need to install anything. So the first thing you want to do to activate Emmet is that you need to change the language mode here. So since this is React, I'm just gonna say JavaScript React. Cool. And now I can activate Emmet. Okay, so how to use Emmet is very simple. I'm gonna delete this, and we're gonna duplicate the code on the left into this cardfast component. All right, so to create Emmet, you start with the element type, right? So we want to create a div right here. We want to create a div class name, a div with a class name of card container. So I can simply say div, right? And since we have the class name here, I'm gonna type dot div dot card container. Container. Now you can see here when Emmet is activated, you can see here it shows suggestions by Emmet abbreviations. So to expand the HTML, you can simply hit tab, right? Easy. And next thing you want to do, you want to again have a class name. We have a div with a class name of card top, so I can simply say div dot, since we have a class name, card top. I enter. Cool. Well, in case I don't want a class name, I want it to be the ID of card top. So I can simply say diff, not dot, but a hash card top, and I hit tab, and it expands into nice beautiful HTML. Like, since we don't need a ID here, I'm just gonna delete this, but I just want to show you how you can create this. Now, the most best thing about this is that you can change the syntax, you can change the comment. So for example, let's say I'm gonna delete this, and so again I have a div with a class name of card top, and inside of that div I'm gonna have an image, right? So to do that, I can hit I don't know what it's called, open bracket, and there's something, a symbol for greater than. So let's hit this, and I'm gonna say image with the class name of, again we have card thumbnail, so you can simply card thumbnail, tab, easy. So right now, as you can see here, I'm just gonna hold on. I'm just gonna this inside the div, inside the card top div, we have an image as well. So now we already duplicated this part. Well, the next part is easy. We can do the same thing inside the div. I have a div with a class name of card bottom, right? Inside that div, I have 3 elements. Basically, I have heading 2, heading 4, and paragraph. To do that, I can simply say heading 2 with a class name of card title, right? Plus heading 4 with a class name of card title description. Description I can type, plus a p tag with a class name of card description. Is that how you spell it? Okay, I hit tab, and now I have all those 3. I have heading 2, I have heading 4, and I have a p tag. Cool. And the next thing, what's cool about this is that you can see it automatically puts your cursor at this, and you can change where you want to be by simply simply typing tab. No, by simply pressing tab. Sorry, on your keyboard. So for example, let's say I have a card title. Let's say a new title, whatever, and I hit tab. I immediately move to card title descriptions, and I can say some long description. Oh my god, I can't type. Right, and then descriptions blah blah blah. I don't know what you are talking. Damn, I can't type about whatever. Cool. And now we have all those 3 things. And next thing you want to do is want to have a footer. So again, I can simply say div with the class name of card footer. Inside that div, I have 2 elements, span with the class name of card date, and another span with the class name of card command. So to do that, I can simply say I have span with the class name of card date, and plus I also have a span with the class name of card command, right? Cool. Right now you can see here I have this command, and I can simply put whatever it is. It's 7 February, hold on, 2021, and for this I can again simply size, I don't know, 439 comments. Let's make it identical. Cool. Right, so you can see here I can type this pretty fast compared to making this div 1 by 1, typing class name all the time. It just wasting a lot of time. Now another thing about this is that you can multiply an element. So what What do I mean by that? Let's say I have an UL, right? Inside the UL, I have a list item, and I want it to be, let's say, 5 list item. I can simply say times 5, sorry, 5, and I hit tab. It will make 5 list item. Tab, damn, 5 list item ready to go. So this is the how powerful Emmet is, and it saves you a lot of time, a lot of copy pasting code. So normally what I would do is I would then, this is how normally I would work. I make a UL, that, I make an LI, I tab, and I copy this 4 times. And that was a lot of work. And for example, let's say I want to change it, I want to have the class name of let's say some item, and then I'm going to delete this, and then let's say I want to copy this 5 times. It is just a lot of work. It wasted a lot of time. So this is how you can use Emmet to make it very fast. Now the cool thing about this, I actually found out about this, is that Emmet not only abbreviates HTML code, you can also use it for CSS. Okay, let's do that, right? I'm just gonna create faster CSS. Okay, and we are gonna copy whatever it is on the left to the right. Let me make it bigger. Okay, cool. Right. To do that, I'm just gonna say cart container, and the first thing is the width is 300 pixels. You can simply say W 300, and then you can see now we have an suggestions by Emmet, and you can simply hit tab, boom, with 300 pixels. And the main width, I can see maybe MW 300 pixels. Cool. And for the border, I'm not sure, but I'll try X. Oh, solid, yeah, something like this, solid, and I can simply CCC. Oh, turns out you can't do that, so you can simply do this and then type CCC, whatever. Cool. And now for padding, I can simply P10. I hit tab, padding 10 pixels. For margin, I can simply margin M10, sorry, M10, hit tab 10 pixels. Now let's say you want margin to be custom, right? You want margin top to be something else, margin right, margin bottom, margin left to be something else. Now how would you do that? Well, to do that, you can use a hyphen. So for example, let's say I want margin, let's say I want my margin to be like, say, 1 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel, 4 pixel. Now to duplicate this in Emmet, I can simply say margin 1 hyphen 2 hyphen 3 hyphen 4, hit tab. Cool. It's easy, it's fast, and I recommend this to everyone, especially those of you who are working in web development. Cool. Now I'm gonna delete this, leave it as it is, and now we are done with cart container. Well, let's continue with the cart thumbnail. Cart thumbnail. I don't know how to spell. Right, width is 100%. Cool. I'm just gonna cool like this. And for the cart title, we have margin 0, enter. For the cart title descriptions, we have margin 0 as well. We have color to be crimson. I'm not sure if if there is some abbreviation for color, but let's see. Okay, so I don't think we can use the word crimson here. Maybe, oh, right, now. So I think the most what you use is you type for color, I guess you can simply say this and then type crimson. Cool. And for font weight, I can simply FW, and you can see right now it suggests normal, and that is exactly what I want. So I can simply hit tab, or if you want to be precise, you can type and font weight normal, hit tab, cool, enter. And then I can move to cart descriptions. Cart descriptions. Description. Oh my god. Color again. Simply hit this. 4E, 4E, 4E. Tab. Font weight is 300. FW 300. I hit tab and it expands. Is exactly what I want. Okay. We have cart footer. And for display flags again, you probably have guessed it by now. You can simply df display flags. For justify content space between, I can simply say JCSB. See, justify content space between any. Now it suggests this, and this is exactly what I want, so I can hit tab. Cool. For color again, C, and then I tap the color. I don't know what is it. A09292, right? And for some font size small, I think we don't have this, but font size they don't have this, but maybe font size small is, I can simply say small. Cool. And you can imagine how fast it is working with Emmet compared to having to type all of these things, right? So that's how you do it. Let's now render cart fast. Let's see. Okay, just gonna call this cart fast. And cart fast tab. Let's see, do we have the component? I don't think we do. Yes, we do. And right now what's missing is the image, so I can simply, I don't know, copy the image for now, right? Right, the cart fast mix image for this is this, and now we should have an exact, not really an exact same, because it's not the same, because again this thing is not the same length. The descriptions we have for cart fast is not the same length as it is in cart component. But again, if you have, you can simply, for example, let's say minimum height for this, and you will make it exact length, the same length anyway. Anyway, we're not going to be worried about CSS for now. I think I'm just going to show you how to demonstrate its capabilities. So okay, so that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing is this data right here. Now, normally what you have in your DOM component like this, like a cart component, it just displays data, right? It grabs, you give some kind of data to this cart fast, in some props, and the cart fast will grab that props and then displays it whatever it needs. So for example, let's say we should probably have something like this cart. We have a prop called cart, and all these things will just be this cart, for example, cart title, right? Then we have cart descriptions, we have cart title descriptions, whatever. Okay, let's just do that for now. I'm just gonna get rid of this. All right, we don't want this anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. We have a prop. Let's do this right here. Okay, so normally what you would do is you should give cart fast some kind of prop. I'm gonna call it cart, and then props. Just gonna say props, and then normally what you would do is then you would display the data based on the props. So oh my god, this is so bad. How long is the URL? Damn. Right, so to do that, so for example, this one would be cart thumbnail, I don't know, thumbnail, and then we have cart title, and this one, let's say, I don't know, cart title description. and then we have cart description. Okay, and then we have cart date as well, cart date, and then we have cart dot comment. Cool. So we have all that. Normally that's what you would do. You would give a prop to the cart fast. Now in the app.css, let's prepare that prop. I'm just gonna go give you an object and same as cars. It's gonna be a list of an object, and well, an object itself, one cart object has a thumbnail, right? For now let's leave it empty, and then it also has a title. Just gonna say some title, and then it also has title description. I'm just gonna say some title description, and then it also has, I don't know, comment. I think comment and date, right? Comment is I don't know, 39, and then date is just your new date. Today's will be today, and normally what you want to do is then you will, since there will be a lot of card, so let's say for now, let's say we have 2 card with the same exact data, right? So normally what you would do is then I'm just gonna get rid of this, just copy this. Normally what you would do is you will map each object in here to its own card. You will render that card based on that object. So you can simply say cards dot map card, right? And then here card save. Not really. I should say return, hit save, and now I got an error. Description is not defined. That's because I don't have descriptions in here. So I'm just gonna say description, I don't know, some blah blah blah, and then we're gonna do the same thing for the second object. This is a long write. We'll hit save and should be fine, I think. What's wrong now? Descriptions, it's not defined. How is it? Oh no. Entertain and the car fast car. Oh, sorry, that was a typo from me. I hit save and now it compiled successfully, and you can see here right now we should have a car. Why don't we have a car? Oh, we have objects that are valid or React checked font. Okay, right. This is probably because of the date. So right now let's just give a date, a simple date. So I think, I don't know, 1 Feb 2021, and this one is the 2nd February 2021. Enter. That should be fine. This one should, okay, we did, that is fine. So we have a title, descriptions, blah blah blah, and for the image let's just copy whatever it is we have on the card. Copy this, the card fast, I'm sorry, in the app.css. I'm just gonna pass this and pass this, right? Okay, cool. No, the thing is, right, this is boring. Imagine you have to design like several cards, right? And since all of them you need to, since for all of them you need to supply data, you need to basically, I guess, edit every one of these objects in custom. So for example, let's say you have some title A and some title B need to be like different from this one, and then we have, let's say you have another object, you need to be different, you need to think a lot. So I think one of the way that you can do, one of the way you can simplify this is to give some sort of a placeholder. Basically, it's a text, but it's not really that important. It is just for viewing purpose only. It's just for there for display purposes only. Normally what you would do is, normally in real app, you would get this data from some kind of API and you will render that data. But since, let's say, you are a front-end programmer, you don't care about the API, you're not going to worry about that, and you just want to give the user and your client are asking you how the app's going to look like, and you don't want to type this one by one. Let's say, imagine you only have like, I don't know, 20 card to render, for example. You need to customize each of these objects, and it's a boring work, right? So this tool, the second one, it will make you will create you all these objects for you randomly, and you can even specify the type of this of each of these property. So for example, I can specify this, that this common property is a number between, I don't know, like 700 to, let's say, 800, or 1 to 10, whatever, or it can be a float number, a floating point number. So this is the second tool that I want to talk about, is something called a JSON generator. Right, so let's do that. Okay, so the second tool is a JSON generator, and to go to that tool, you can simply go to next.json-generator.com, and this is, I recommend you to sign in with your email. I don't know, you can use your dumb email basically. Okay, anyway, so here is the tool. What it does is basically it creates a JSON object for you that you can use, and the best thing about this is that you can specify what kind of property that you want, what is the type of the property, and how random you want it to gonna be. So for example, we have a property ID and we want it to be an object ID, and it's, of course, if this is the case, if you have several of all of these objects, the ID is going to be unique, different. We have index, we have GUID, we have active, and which gives you a random value between false and true, and you can have a floating point. In this case, this balance is a floating point in terms of currency, and you can have a picture, a string basically. So this picture, this property is just a string like this, and if you render this in the image, it will give you the random image. Anyway, you can have an age between 20 to 14. You can have a random value between blue, brown, green. You can have an object as a value of the property. So in this case, we have a name. Inside that name, we have an object, the first and last. And the first name is gonna give you like a random first name of people, so something like John or something, and the last name is, well, the surname for that people. And you can also have your own functions, and this is really cool about this, is that in this case we have an email, right? And an email is gonna be the first name, the last name, at thecompany.com, and something like this. You can have a phone number, address, and you can see that they have a lot of data types that you can use. And it's, what's awesome about this is you can customize it to whatever you want, right? And so let's say we want this. Okay, so we only want thumbnail, title, little descriptions, comment, indeed. Right, cool. Well, to have that, let's say we can so we're just gonna create this for now. I'm gonna keep, okay, I'm gonna create a new one. Sorry, I'm gonna create a new one, new template, and then, okay, cool, and just gonna copy and pass in here so we can have reference what the data type is. So I'm just gonna delete everything in this value, I guess. Okay, right, delete everything, and now what we have is only this. Okay, cool. here. So the first thing we want to have is you want to have a thumbnail, title, descriptions, comment, and date. Cool. So I'm just going to say thumbnail. Right now, let's leave it empty. Okay. And then we have title. And then we have title descriptions. I'm just going to copy this because I'm lazy. And then we have descriptions. And then we have comment. And let's just put 0 for now. And then we have date. Okay, cool. Okay, we have all that. And let's now fill in the data type. So for the thumbnail, we're gonna need an image, right? A link for an image. So you can simply take this, right? This is a placeholder. It will give you random image, not random, like a placeholder for an image. So you can simply paste right here. So we want it to be the size of, I don't know what is the size for my image. Let's say about 600 times 400. Cool. I think that's like very good size there. And for the title, we want it to be some Lorem, it's some string, right? So as you can see here, for an about, what they do, what we got is some Lorem ipsum tags. And you can see here in the about, where is the about? Hold on. Yep. To grab that, you can simply use this. So I'm just gonna copy this. And turns out that we have to use a single quote, sorry. Cool. I'll copy this, and this will give you one paragraph. So we don't want one paragraph, right? We don't want that. We only want a title will be something short, right? We're not gonna we don't want something long, basically. So to do that, as you can see here, we can, let's go to help, and then let's say Lorem. And what it does, you can see here the usage for this. What it does is you need to give how many you want and what kind of units you want. So we have paragraphs, and we have it can be words, it can be sentence, or it can be paragraph. So a string, sorry, a title would not be something so long. I'm just gonna say, let's say 5 random words, whatever, right? All right, so that's cool. For the title descriptions, we want it to be slightly longer, I guess, than the title. So I can just copy and paste it. We want it to be, let's say, 1 sentences. And then for the description, this one is long. Let's say it's 1 paragraph. Right? I'm not sure what's wrong here. Okay, unmatch. It feels like we are forgetting something here. Oh, I haven't closed this. Cool. And for a comment, you want it to be some random number between, I don't know, let's see here. You want it to be this one. Sounds good. It gives you some random number between 20 to 40. So just copy this. Let's say our comment is 20 to our minimum comment, let's say 2, then 400 for some reason. Cool. And then we have a date, and this is gonna be interesting. So let's say if we have something about date to register. Okay, they do. And I'm just gonna copy this. As you can see here, the date is, where is it? Date register. Okay, Wednesday something, blah blah blah. Okay, you just copy this and write the date, this date, new date format, blah blah. Okay, so for this, let's see if we have some kind of format that does not have comment. No, date. Right. Okay, let's leave it. New date. All right. Okay, let's leave it empty. Let's delete this. We don't know. Okay, so what we want is date between two, I guess. Something is wrong. No. Yep. Maybe this. It seems to me that we are losing the bracket, so we have unmatched bracket, I think. Here. I think we need to have this and this and this. Okay, cool. So right, so let's generate that. Let's see how it looks now. I'm generating. Do we have a correct data? Okay, we have thumbnail, descriptions, blah blah blah. The date is looking pretty good, except we only want, we don't want the I guess the, what else should I, the day. We don't want this, we don't want time zone. So let's take a look at our help again. Right, date. Okay, we have a min and max. Generated date can be formatted with moment.js. So let's take a look at moment.js. Sorry, generator js. Cool. We want it to be, we don't want a day, so let's think about this. Right, oh, we need to, oh, okay, I see now. To do that, let's just delete this. We don't need moment to render this, so I'm just gonna say, okay, we have date. Sorry, we have, sorry, date UTC string. Just gonna copy this whole thing. Right. It's something is wrong. Okay, because I didn't close this. We have date, and I think, do you have a good thing? We don't. I don't know how to. Okay, let me. Alright, after playing with it for a couple of while, I found out that you can use the moment.js format for this. So in this case, for example, this format will give you something like this. Since we need all the, let's say, all the 4 digits of the year, so I can do something like this very easily, and you can see now our data is correct, right? So the next thing you want to do, I can simply copy and paste this. We have 5 items, and you can definitely increase this in case you want more data, right? This is the minimum and this is the maximum, so it's pretty cool app. And you can, to do this, I can simply create a data.js, and what it does is basically just a cart data. So I'm just gonna say cons cards, whatever, I'm gonna pass that in. Cool. So now all the cart like this, I can simply export that. Export cons cart this. I hit save. And next thing I want to do is I want to grab all of this data in my app.js, right? So I can simply say import. So import, I want to import the cards from data.js, or data really. Okay, so after that I can simply do like this. Okay, and we're gonna grab this, each of these, we're gonna map each of these value in here to a card. I hit save, and it should be good for now. and it is right now, except the fact that we have a problem. The first thing is, the problem is that we have different length here. So normally, what you would do is you make a maximum length in the card fast component to show only some steps, only, for example, like the first 100 words or the first 200 words. That's what you would do. And the next thing I want to talk about is, it seems that our image is not showing, right? So, but you can see now the data is there, so you can simply do that. It seems that our image is not showing. Let's take a look at our data. Okay, we have placeholder, cool, thumbnail. If I follow this link, open that link, do we have an image? Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, sorry, it turns out I think it was my internet. All right, after several minutes of debugging, I found out that they actually changed the URL. So now it's placeholder.com. So I simply change the URL here. Your JSON should need to look something like this. I hit update and I replace whatever it is now in our data.js, and now our app works perfectly. We have a placeholder image, but this image is boring, right? It's the same image for everything else. What if we want it to be random? So to do that, there's something called a Pixum photos. What it does is it basically gives you a random image with and then you can even specify the size of the image. For example, this one right here, it will give you an image with the size of 200 times 300 pixel, and you can even specify the ID of that image. So for example, for ID 1 you will get this image. So if I click this, I should get this image right here in ID. And you can so to make our image randomly, we can supply a random ID to this, right? So that's like so to do that, we have to change this to a function that returns this link with the size of 600 times 400, but with a random ID. So let's take a look at this. As you can see here, this one example is just copy and paste this function. I'm just gonna copy and paste this function. I'm just gonna place this in here. So hold on a second. I'm just gonna replace this in here. Cool. And then I'm just gonna call this thumbnail, and we're gonna give them a link. Hold on a second. This link here in the JSON, I'm just gonna okay, just right here, and I can simply grab this integer. The cool thing about this app is it gives you I guess this utility functions that you can use. So for example, in this case, the ID will be a random integer between 5 and 10. And you can even use, for example, you want to use JavaScript meta random. I don't think you can use that here, but maybe there is some way to do that. But for now, I think you can just simply use their function. You can simply use text.integer between 5 and 10. We don't want it to be 5 and 10. Let's say 5 and 15, whatever. Okay, we update. It should be good. I don't see any update. Right, we update, and then while we are at it, let's take a look at title descriptions. I'm just gonna say it's about 6 word now, not sentences. I think that should be good. And then I update again, and I copy whatever we have in here, and then I replaced it with this. I hit save, and now I should see the changes and get random image for every on my cart. And it turns out that we have a wrong size, so let's do that again. Sorry, yep, right here it's about 600 times 400, and I update again. It will create another random data, so I'm just gonna copy this, replace whatever we have in here. This should be good, I think, but let's see. Yep, now it's looking good. And yeah, that's the second tools. And right now we have three tools basically. The first one is Emmet, the second one is Json Generator. And if you are, for example, don't want to deal with all these things, the codes and stuff, there's another tool called macaroon.com. And what it does, it's exactly the same thing. It gives you a random data. You can even specify how many data you want. You can even specify the output format. It could be a CSV, JSON, whatever, SQL database. So normally you would choose SQL, and this thing right here is, I would say, is more user friendly, because you can, for example, you can just click whatever you want, just simply choose. So for example, let's say I have another field called, I don't know, comment, right? Comment. I can simply it's probably an integer, I think. No, number. Yep. It could be a number, and you can simply choose minimum, maximum, you want it to be decimal or not. So I think this one is more user friendly, but this one right here, its power is, I think the best power it has is the fact that you can insert functions like this. So it's more customizable, I guess. And so that's another tool that you can use if you don't like to deal with all these things. And so the next extension I want to talk about is called Prettier. Well, Prettier, what it does is it basically format your code, so you don't really have to think about formatting and stuff. And you can even automate that formatting, so every time you want to save, and you can format the code. So to install Prettier, you can go to extensions, and then simply search Prettier, and then click install. Okay, after installing, the next thing you want to do is go to one of the component that you have, and then simply click view, command palette, and then format document width, and then just choose Prettier. And you can even choose a default formatter. In this case, I'm just going to choose a default formatter. Click from default formatter and just simply choose code formatter, right? And so the next time to format it, let's say I have a code that looks something like this, and I want to format it, I can simply select them all, right click and format selections, right? And now you can see that it auto format my code. Or let's say I have something like this, I can simply hit save alt F, and then it auto formatted code. And you can actually automate this every time you save, so you don't really have to you don't really have to right click, you don't really have to do this every time and format document, right? To, let's say I have something like this, what I want to do is every time I want to save this file, every time I'm saving this file, I want it to be auto formatted. So in this case right now, you can see that it doesn't auto format my code. So to do that, I can simply go to view, command palette. I can simply say user settings, right? I have user settings right now, and I'm gonna need to go to, hold on a second, the JSON for the setting. Okay, let's go to user, I'm sorry, settings, something. Okay, you're gonna go to settings and see open settings JSONs. This, and to do this, you're gonna make you're gonna have to type editor, sorry, editor dot format on save, and I'm just gonna say true. And this, in this case, every time I'm saving a file where the language mode is JavaScript, it will auto format my code. So for example, this time is the language mode, as you can see here, is JavaScript. So every time I hit save, right? So let's say I did this, I hit save, it should auto format my code. Let's see if it does. Save and auto format your code. Now normally you would not want it to be in JavaScript, right? You want it to be in React mode. So to do that, you can simply change this to be JavaScript React. Save. In the cart fast, you have to change the language mode to be React, and now it will work on React. And so for example, let's say I'm having some code that looks like this, and probably class name with few types, and I don't know, this one few types. So every time I want to hit save, I would then format my code automatically. So I hit save and auto format. This is a great way to auto format your code. And the cool thing about Prettier is that you can have a config file that you can share with your teammate, so that you and your teammate can have the same formattings in your code. Okay, that's the seconds. If you would like to know more about Prettier, you can simply go to, I would say, I don't know, Prettier. It's probably something, prettier.io. This, and you can simply go to this website, and they have documentation and stuff. You can go to their documentations. You can see how to install it and stuff, and how to make a configurations for Prettier, right? Okay, so that's the another extension. Next extension is something called a React Snippets, and I actually have installed this, I think ES7 React something. Yep, I have installed this. This is called ES7 React Redux Graphical React Native Snippets. And this snippets, what it does, it gives you some sort of a shortcut for you to expand your code. And okay, let me just demonstrate that. Let's say I have a component, right? This one is card fast. I'm gonna comment this for now, and I want to create a component. And all I can do, I can of course just type this every time I import React, and I make a component and export default, or I can simply use these extensions and simply type RAFCE, sorry, RAFCE. Oh, it's not installed right now. Okay, RAFCE, and I hit tab, and now I already have the component, and all I do is maybe change the name of the component, and all I think the next thing I want to do is probably working on the component itself. So I don't really need to remember all these codes and how to remember all these structures, and I can work directly to the content of the component itself. I don't really need to care. I don't really need to remember all of this, right? And there's actually a lot of snippets for this. You don't, for example, let's say I want to import something, I can simply type imp, and you can see that this is because ES7, I think, I don't know. Yep, it is because of ES7. I can simply tap, and I can type the module that I want to import and the module name, whatever. So I think there is a lot more to this. I'm not gonna cover all of those in these videos, but you can simply go to maybe their extensions, and they probably have a list of those snippets somewhere in their GitHub, probably. And you can okay, this is it. This you can import, you can import module like this, or there's a lot of things that you can use to I guess to speed up your development, right? uh Basically, so I'm just gonna all of this thing that I talked about earlier is not something that makes you a better programmer. In a sense, what it does, it basically makes all these tedious tasks that you do every time, every day as a programmer, less boring, and you can pretty much focus on what it on something that is important. So, for example, so for example, um, in what's important in this component is the content of component. You don't really care about this. You don't want to wasting your time typing all these things, and you just want to go strictly to this. That's why I think this component, this extension or this tools is very important, because when you do programming like 8 hours a day, it's all of this thing gets really boring in a sense, right? Okay, so that's the last thing, I guess. Just a quick introductions to all these components. You can of course explore it more, and you can go to their documentation and stuff. And I think that's all for today. Hope you guys have a good day.